buzzer, kyotsuke, right? Okay. In terms of what's going on this weekend, just give you an intro. In case you didn't get the email, the schedule was reworked Wednesday night, I think, and some of you, I said, I need to know, some of you, thank you for offering to do a second topic. I really appreciate it. And I said, but I need to know yesterday. And I really want to thank the three of you that stepped up and sent me an email before I asked for it in terms of what you were going to be teaching. And so I reworked the schedule. So today we have Dave Clark is doing multiple technique flow. We did a little of that last night. It is interesting and a challenge. Then Dave Bozo is doing Goshin Jitsu Kata. Then after lunch, Chris Kadamian, who has a program down at Burbank Parks, is going to be up here teaching knife and gun defenses. And then I will be doing, I'll be covering George Cushinen's. I'm not necessarily doing the same things he would do, but he was going to do control and escort techniques. So I will do control and escort techniques. And that's today. Saturday, Harold will be doing basic concepts of Midori-ryu Jiu-Jitsu. Be sure to bring a tall chilled glass. Midori, a little humor. Then David. That's how I was going to use it. Then Dave will be, Bozo again will be teaching Koru Aikido knife defense. Then after lunch we have Harold Zeidman, who's who's dealing with multiple assailants. Then I will be doing techniques in tight spaces. I'm going to give you ideally 2 panels to do whatever you do. And we have 1, 2, 3 good corners, and that'll work well too, because being stuck in a corner is a bad place to be. Okay? And then Dave Clark's going to be ending up the art of asserting, okay, which is a skill in and of itself. And Michael's really good at that too. And it'd be interesting to see how different your approach is from Michael. Anyway, so that's the plan.
Good morning, thank you for being here. I'm certainly happy to be here. Last night, it occurred to me that yesterday for me was 22 hours of wakefulness. So sleep was sweet last night. And we are going to cover a very solid topic this morning. Jiu-Jitsu is an art form, and my firm conviction on what we're going to cover is the fact that multiple technique flow embraces that art form in its most solid and most pure sense. That said, I want to start out in an unconventional way and violate the rule of staying right here, right at the get-go. My bride would tell you I'm pretty good at violating rules. And direct your attention to what we have over here. And what I'd like to do is take the first 10 or 15 minutes and begin a class here like we begin it in our dojo back in Florida. The idea of sharing what we do there that seems to work well for us, and the chance that some of it or all of it works well for you. So we have a table, a huge pool table in the middle of a very large dojo we've been blessed to work with. Entire second floor of a massive youth center. And we put these charts out. I teach a class of anywhere from 6 to 16 students at a time. Sometimes I have a guest sensei help me about 1 to 2 weekends out of a month. Otherwise, it's just me, myself, and I. This has made it very efficient and very effective. So I'll show you the system we've set up. Logan, before I go there, would you come up for just a moment and tell, in your own words, how the charts work, because you've used these as a student as well.
So you have the techniques alphabetized by Japanese name running down the left side. The second column has the English translations with the number that corresponds to the techniques number in the big book. And then the techniques are all divided into attack, block, strike, throw, and grapple with these brief sort of descriptions of the techniques. So what happens is when we're working in the dojo, say we're working on blue belt, I want some confirmation on the Mai Yubinagi. I find Mai Yubinagi here, it's 42. So I go to the chart, I look at 42, and say I can't remember what attack it starts with. I can see here that it's a right hair grab from behind, so we immediately go back to working. And it's not a question we have to ask him, my training partner, and I can just look at this and say, okay, it's a right hair grab from behind, and we get back with it. So it feels very streamlined.
The charts allow me to say I've got, say, 2 people working green belt. I can put them on green belt, have them start at the bottom, work their way back, start at the top, work their way down, follow the numbers. They become quite self-sufficient. I can then go from group to group to group and check. They don't know when I'm going to pop in, who I'm going to be focusing on, but they stay on task. And so there's a degree of efficiency and effectiveness that's ramped up through the use of the chart. These charts took me a long time. I have no idea, because I had such fun making them that I'd work on them in the middle of the night, 6 hours at a time, 6 minutes at a time, and they've served us very well. I have small versions of this, 8.5 by 11, that I can send you, and I'll have a handout later on. You can just contact me. I send you a digital copy. You can print out your own. You can expand them like I did here and laminate them. These have been used for 7 years, 8 years now, and they're still in relatively good condition. So there you have it. Over here we have our break fall techniques. I've developed a mat system that is 6 inches thick. 2 inches on top is cross-linked polyethylene foam mats. Underneath that is 11 32 plywood that is Velcroed together. Underneath that is 4 inches of S12S foam. It's like walking on a cloud. When you videotape me or another person doing a hard high fall, you can actually see the epicenter and the shock wave come out on the mat. You can see it absorb the energy. It's really cool. And it allows us to work everything from front flip falls, number 15, or something as basic as a side fall. So these are the 15 falls that my students work on. They don't start out day one doing that, obviously, but they work up as they move through the belts. Belt numbers. This is something I use where every 6 months I do a session open to the general public, which is teaching them basic street techniques so that college kids going off to school have a little street smarts. Rapid ground submissions for the 30% of the time a fight can go to the ground. Training for self-defense. This is what we're going to be covering, these topics, on Sunday's class. We call this street kata. And again, very practical, very hands-on. And it's one thing to operate efficiently and effectively in a dojo. It's an entirely another to be on the street. This puts us closer to street application in the dojo. That's what I like about it. All the kata and all the waza. This chart they do not find intimidating. This is yellow belt, this is green belt, and so forth. They just know where they stand on that spectrum and what their goals are as they advance through the belts. So, if you get a chance, 7 years ago, guys. Okay. If you just follow my lead. We're stretching the bottom of our feet, our calf muscle, to a certain degree our hamstring and our buttocks. I never used that word until Paul Haynes kept using it in class. Go back to the original stance, please. And then reverse. Okay, come on down. Bottoms of your feet together. Draw your ankles in. You'll grab your feet like I have and then push out, push down with your elbows. We have young ladies in our class that lean forward and put their nose on the floor. This is as far forward as my body will take me right there. Okay, feet out. Okay, if you can touch your toes, please do so. If you can't, your name is Logan, for sure. Palms here, walk them forward, please. And go about 1 more inch. Okay, feet out, feet in. Feet out, feet in. Up and over, palms down. Legs straight. Come on up. Left leg over. Beside your right knee. Reach around, grab, and then look over your left shoulder. You'll feel the stretch goes further with that look over the shoulder. Other side, reverse please. Stretching should not be painful. It should feel gentle. You should feel the muscle being stretched. If you'll lie back down, run your ankle down your knee towards your waist, as close to your waist as you can get it comfortably, and then push out gently at the knee. You'll feel this in the hip. If you then straighten out your left leg, take your knee and bring it down toward the mat, your leg is now at a 90-degree angle. Your knee should just about touch the mat or actually touch the mat. Now draw your ankle up toward your shoulder, put your knee back down to the mat. Your knee should be even closer to the mat. You can feel this stretch your front of your leg, your quadriceps. You also feel it in the lower sides of your torso. Other side, same stretch, pulling your leg up and ankle towards your waist, push out on your knee. You then straighten your leg out, your right leg out, 90-degree angle, bring your knee down toward the mat. Draw your ankle up toward your shoulder. We've done this so regularly, any student in our class can lead them. And come up and over again, this time palms up toward the ceiling. Legs straight. This should feel a little different. Maybe a little more relaxed. Okay, stand up please. Cup your hands like so. You're just going to lean over, take a good morning exercise and relax. Just hang there. Feel gravity. And now come down slowly, slowly, and come down as far as you can comfortably. Touch your toes if you're able, knuckles if you're able. It's okay to bend your knees slightly, and then come up slowly, stacking up your vertebrae. Just come up very slowly. Good. When you get here, standing back bend, just go back as far as you can comfortably stretch. This is preparing you for the next stretch, which is this, right here. Come on into it, please. You saw when we get some clown in our class that brings their feet up, starts to bark like a seal. There's one in every class. Supermans. This is where we sing happy birthday. Anybody got a birthday this week? Okay, we don't have to sing. That's great. We'll go as far as singing happy birthday to somebody's pet if we can't find a human being. Hands behind your back. This is a nice lying back extension. And come up again. Again, this ought to feel a little more comfortable than when we first came down. Relax your torso, relax your ab muscles. Let the stretch take hold. Very good. Stand up. Hand in the middle of your back, grab, and lean to the right. and forward, and backward, forward, backward. Grab 3 fingers, and just hold to the side. Go over a little further. Take that same arm, put it across your chest, elbow across. Go ahead and make a fist, turn your hands inward, and then look behind your shoulder again. Get a nice shoulder stretch. Flip side. Same thing. Forward, back, forward, back. Grab 3 fingers. And then arm across your chest. Very good. See how we're working our way up the body. At this point, we roll, just don't roll more than 1.5 times in any direction, but go around each side. And the last segment is one of the more gymnastic people in our dojo will do this and then flip himself, a flip side fall, like he just threw himself. Okay? We just did a hand throw, and now we're doing a Takubi Shimi Waza. Yes, you can move it in and out if you like. Okay? And hand throw on the other hand. We call this a dynamic stretch for obvious reasons, and a static stretch. I'd like to walk this one up. And gooseneck. Very good. That's it. There's your stretch. Now, we've got that going. We have a 10 to win workout. I encourage my students 2 at a time to come to my gym at the house and do the 10 to win. They establish their own numbers. Fitness, in my thinking, as someone who teaches martial arts, I promote a healthy diet, a Mediterranean diet, if you can go there, or something that's a little more stringent. If you can't, you're looking to lose weight. The other thing is overall fitness. From like so, hey! The muscles that I use to throw that cross punch, some people call it a reverse punch, or the jab, same muscles we use when we do push-ups. You always have your body, you always got gravity. No excuse for not working out. So we do 2 exercises in our dojo on a regular basis, and everybody has their number. Eventually, everybody works up to the number we do in the dojo. 35 push-ups, 35 walking lunges. The push-ups hit your core, lower back, and the muscles that we use for punches. So, what I'd like you to do is drop and do the number of push-ups you're comfortable doing. We stop at 35, but whatever that number is for you, keep it to yourself, okay? If it's 5, if it's 10, if it's 12, there is no pride involved in this. There's fitness involved in this, okay? Most of us in our dojo can do a lot more than 35 push-ups without stopping. That's not the point. The point is we work out together, and 35 is a number we've settled on as a dojo. If they hear me say, hey, 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 they know that somewhere in the middle of class we're doing 35 more. And at the end, we'll do 35 more. They leave that day, they've done 105 push-ups, 105 walking lunges. They're happy. So am I. But we usually just do exercise at the beginning. Okay, walking lunges. There is a way to do these that works. And there's several varieties. You got the prisoner variety. Okay? You got this variety. I like to do the nerd version. The nerd version, hands to the side, step forward far enough that your knee stays over your ankle. Don't let your knee get out over your toes. You'll tear your knees up. This is a powerful exercise. Turn your foot in slightly, keep your balance. If you want more balance, you can put your arms out. This is more beneficial than static lunges. Static lunges have you going out and back and out and back. This has us step forward, step forward, step forward. Occasionally we'll do them backwards. 35. So if you want to roll the camera or not, we're going to go ahead and grind out as many of these as you're comfortable with. Going down, coming back. We go in a circle so that you don't get that rest. And it is different when you can stop and turn around. That little stop is enough to give you a little rest. But if you keep going, you feel a delightful slight burn. Okay? You get all the benefits of strengthening your legs without all the impact of running. That said, if you like to run, get some good insoles for your shoes that absorb all that pounding, and some good air shoes, and run by all means. Very good. All right, set the gi back up, we'll begin. 8:30 on Friday morning. Somebody wanted to know where we were. I had announced it in June, I'd announced it at the end of July, and also last week, twice. Somebody still showed up. Where are you? I'm in California. So, we're going to go through the first part of this and just clarify some things before we go into the 60-step itself. If you're concerned we're going to do all 60 steps today, well, don't be too concerned. We are going to do all 60, but we're not going to do them in order, in total sequence. We're going to do them in order 3 at a time so that you can teach these at your dojos when you get back home. And add one of the regular numbers that you see out to the side. If you do that in 17 weeks, your students know this and they know it well. Okay? So if you want to turn to the center of the booklet, the center staples, and see where it says 60-step multiple technique flow, you'll see the attack is a right-hand shirt grab during a left punch. Number 1 has a joint lock, a Kiai, and a strike. That's the first 3 techniques. The Kiai, hey, is a technique. It is a technique. That's how you get them to Kiai. If they're not Kiaiing, they're leaving out a very important technique. And we all know the benefits. I won't go there. The second week, you simply have them review the first one, and you go to number 2, which is, again, a joint lock, a Kiai, and a strike. Third week, joint lock, Kiai, strike. We're starting to see a pattern here, right? Then there's a star. You'll see 3 stars during the 60 sequence. That star is because we put 2 strikes back to back. Okay? The 4th week, you've got joint lock, Kiai, strike. 5th week, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. And you'll see after the 7th week, we have added an additional strike. After the 10th week, we've added an additional strike. Okay? End of 17 weeks, they've got something that's quite valuable. You'll see that what they will do is use it. They'll use it in their Kimi no Kata, their focus techniques. They'll use it in their Randori. They'll use it a number of ways that surprise you. It shows up in testings, pieces of this and pieces of that. If somebody asks them, what's jiu-jitsu? Well, I can show you. They don't need to do all 60. They can do any segment they want. But it gets people pretty well versed very quickly. If you go back to the inside front cover, multiple technique flow heading, it has a definition of multiple technique flow in the first paragraph. You've probably already read it. I will start in the middle of that and say the practice of multiple technique flow will transform your jiu-jitsu from the mere study of techniques into an art form. Its basis is found in the axiom, always have another technique ready in case the technique you are using quits working, fails. A simple example of multiple technique flow is evolving a thumb tip press into a hand throw, into a neck stomp, into a shoulder lock. So Logan, if I can have you come up here a second. We're going to show you what this would look like off of a handshake, and this is a very short version of multiple technique flow. He won't let go of my hand. This happened to me at a 40-year high school reunion. The same clown that did this in high school did it 40 years later. Not to me, he didn't. Okay? we can take this, move it like so, turn it into a hand throw, take him down, bring him over like so, and come in with a shoulder lock. What's missing? There's something very important that's missing. Kiai, okay? And good. I'm working with black belts. How cool. Great. Okay, so we have, this feels so good to not be tired. Okay, so we've got the thumb tip press. Hey! There's the Kiai and a strike. Hand throw. Hey! Now that strike is right there. It's not he lands and then we stop. And no, he lands, the strike is waiting for him. Okay? This becomes that. He wants to go overboard. Hey! Or hey! Or hey! Got all kinds of options. Okay? And bring this in for that look, mom, no hands look. You know? Very good. So, multiple technique flow uses strikes to prompt a natural Kiai sense. It's a great place for a Kiai. Not that you can't or shouldn't Kiai on a joint lock. There's no bad time to Kiai. You can yell your brains out. It's going to make you out of breath, as Michael Language noticed last night. I just did a very short one, and even though I'm in good physical condition, I'm up here huffing and puffing. Kiais do that, for sure, if you've done right. But the Kiai has an extremely important part in multiple technique flow because it buys something called time. Time is very valuable because if it's working for you, it's working against your opponent. If your opponent's controlling the time and you aren't, it's working against you. Strikes will buy you, you know, the estimates are half a second, 7/10 of a second to go into that next joint lock or that next technique, which is plenty of time for you to do what you're going to do if you have that second technique ready when the first technique fails. We called this originally checkmate multiple technique flow as we were developing this in our dojo. That's the paper I had the privilege of developing this over several years. The process was one where people realized that the reason we use the term checkmate is that any one of these joint locks can end it. Not that any one of the strikes wouldn't, but the joint locks can all be devastating and they can all stop the confrontation if they're taken out to their natural conclusion. And we know that about our art form. When practicing multiple technique flow, do not verbalize your intentions out loud or to yourself. I'm going to violate that one a lot today because I'm going to be teaching it and I'm going to tell you the things to look for and the nuances that are going to make a difference in what works and what doesn't. However, normally when you are doing this, I'm not stopping in the middle of what I just demonstrated to say, here's what we're going to do next. And maintain constant control of your attacker. And explains how and why. Kiai often use strikes to shock, include a variety of lifts. We're going to go into lifts here in just a moment. Remember the law of physics, it states there's only one pivot point per technique. Only one pivot point per technique. We know that from Uro Harai and some other techniques that we've learned. Respect the fact, and this is so important, that each black belt has a different teaching style, and each student has a different learning style. Give people space to be flexible learning this. Listen to their problems and their requests along the way. Can I do this instead? Or how about would this work? At any point, there is nothing sacred about this. You could take this off in a whole different direction. And you may look at this and say, I like this, this, and this. I like 3 things on these 3 pages. And the rest of it, I'm going to jettison. I'm coming up with my own. Great. Go for it. Okay? And this is by no means the be-all, end-all. We're starting on another series of multiple technique flows behind this. Allow confidence to develop gradually. The rest of this is pretty much stuff you guys already know. The effectiveness of your multiple technique flow is predicated on a fairly large knowledge base of techniques. If you're going to be doing this on the fly and you're not going to work from a sequence like this, and I encourage people to do that, and we do that in our dojo. Guys, I want you to start out with an Udagaruma Ushiro. and I want you to then take it into a multiple technique flow. Your choice. Go for it. They can use what's coming to mind and their knowledge base, or they can let Mushin take hold. And they might think they want to do something, but their mind just took them someplace else, or their training took them someplace else. It's a great experience. They get to experience Mushin directly. Just like we got to experience Ki last night with that little finger sticking out. Yes. Okay. So, that's very important. Obviously, plenty of practice, and develop your situational awareness. That is being able to think on the fly and use Mushin to your advantage. The next page over here is a basic rule of multiple technique flow, and that is to maintain constant contact with the aggressor. Okay? There's some pretty obvious reasons for that we state in here. And then the purpose of lifts. Students will ask, why am I lifting somebody up? I just threw them down. Why am I throwing them up? Lifts are accomplished a number of ways, and we're going to go over some of the lifts right now so that you have a understanding of the varieties that are out there, and maybe you'll create some more of your own. But the bottom line is this: there are options that I want to be able to exercise when it's to my advantage to lift an aggressor up and use him as a block, or to let that expression on his face be out there for all of his buddies to see. Okay? Maybe I need to move him because we need to get out of here so we can hide, and I don't want him running his yap. So after I get him to wherever I need to have him so that we're quiet and he can't go, then I can decide how I'm going to silence him. Lifts are accomplished in many ways. The arm twist elbow lift. Let's start there. Logan, may I use you again, please? Go ahead and lie on your back, please. The arm twist elbow lift. This is done wrong. This is done incorrectly so many times, and it doesn't matter how many times we teach it. It seems like it's a difficult concept for lower belts to grasp. I have him like this. I've reached over like this, and I'm putting a twist on his arm. That's not going to get him up. But if I have my hand up underneath his elbow and I put a twist on that arm, it's going to make him want to come up. Okay? I don't have to say, would you come up, please, sir? Go ahead and lie back down, please. This twist right here, not here, here, arm twist, elbow lift. I've got the bent. I do this right here, and up he comes. It hurts doing it to him because this is my son, and I know what that feels like. You can't get up fast enough. So, arm under the elbow, or the hand under the elbow, and twist that arm towards you. You're just putting the gas on a motorcycle. Okay, motorcycle grip. Bent finger lift. You'll see this one a little later today. Come back down, please. If I want to bring him up, I simply do this right here, and that makes him want to come up. I can add something to that by putting my arm up underneath here as I bring him up. And I'm just going to a parent joint, and that's going to take it back here into that axis joint right back here. That much faster. So if it's a really big guy, go ahead and go back down. I don't have a really big guy here, you may have noticed. But we got this right here. I can bring that down right here and just go ahead and come up like so. Okay? This has everything we need. And it's pretty interesting because we're out on the end of the fingers here. And we've got the fingers involved, this joint, all these joints, this here, this, all the way back. Okay? Bent thumb lift and finger curl lifts. Bent thumb lift. He's lying on the ground again. Going to bring him up. This one right here. Okay? You're probably going to break the thumb in that process rather than lift him up. And then bent finger lift, rather than going backwards, we can bend them on themselves and make them want to come up. Okay? This is a small version we call milking the rat, where we bend the finger back on itself. The look on his face tells you what's happening, but just milking the rat. If you want to take your own fingers and just go ahead and take that index finger and bend it, and go ahead and, bend it back on itself. One more time. I think it makes the rat squeak. That's why it's milking the rat. Yes, okay? You can do it to more than one finger at a time, but okay? Very effective ways to lift people. Maintain control. Okay, so excellent practice for the street and a great confidence builder. Last things we need to mention. Let's go ahead and begin by going through the multiple technique flow. We'll direct you to the last page, the back cover. I said earlier I would give you contact information. There's a mention of the books that I've written here, not so important. Contact down at the bottom, jujitsu@atrq.com. Go ahead and shoot me an email and request for what information you want. I'll send you back digital files. Jiu-Jitsu has always been nonprofit, and there's no charge for any of my hard copy materials to black belts. There's no charge for any of this to anyone at any belt level. Okay? The charge that I have for my teaching materials below black belt is my cost. So they know that this is entirely nonprofit. This, I should just mention before we get back into it, is the book that I wrote for our dojo. This is our entire teaching curriculum on 360 pages. So I can have them go home and read up on topics that we're covering. This includes 5 different kinds of kata. It also has a DVD in front that's instructional. The book has served us very well. And what's the title? The title of the book is Balance, the Art of Teaching the Gentle Art, Directed Positive Action for Everyday Living. Okay? I did copyright it with the obvious intention of just not having anybody else use a jiu-jitsu form of literary jiu-jitsu on me. Okay? But I also put in the copyright, there is no promoting this book for any reason for monetary gain by me or anyone else. That's part of the copyright. So, okay. We're going to go ahead and go through the entire sequence. I'm going to show you the entire sequence, and then we're going to go back through one number at a time. We'll hit all 17 in the time I have. If we're fortunate, we'll keep it moving, okay? And then we'll be able to move on to the next segment. Before I do this, Logan, I'm going to ask you to come up one more time, please. I'm going to ask for the mantra that we're going to use today. Jeff, when you said it so well earlier, quarter speed. Slow is smooth. Smooth becomes fast. Slow is smooth. Smooth becomes fast. Okay? My students get tired of hearing it. I got tired of hearing Sensei Kirby tell me that coming up through the ranks. Slow it down, slow it down. So, we worked this last night in class, and I worked it at about regular speed. We worked it at about regular speed. You'll see we're going to do this slowly. We'll be able to articulate movements well, and we'll grasp the concept more efficiently, more effectively. So, multiple technique flow sequence. He's going to grab with his right. He's going to throw left. And hold on a second, he's going to throw a punch. I will explain before we get started. That punch is an obvious next step after a grab. Whether I'm grabbed and he intends to punch me or not, the grab alone is enough for me to say, you don't belong grabbing me without my permission. So I can go into this technique. So go ahead and grab and throw the punch. Hey! 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 Beginning with number 1. This is where I'm going to violate the first principle. We discuss the nuances. Thank you, Logan. If you'd like, I can use another rookie at this point. We can kind of spread the wealth, or I can use Logan. You want to take a vote on it? Logan doesn't get a vote. That's fine. Okay. When he grabs, and whether he's got that punch up or not, I already said, okay? If he throws that punch, and I'm doing this with two hands, even if he lands it, it's going to be a rabbit punch, okay? We've never had anybody land that punch in our dojo, ever, ever, okay? And they even know what's coming and how it's coming. This right here, natural instinct, my students want to do this. Last night's class wanted to do this. You're going to telegraph. Don't want to telegraph, okay? Sometimes one hand comes up, but not the other, okay? They come up underneath. You're a submarine. You're coming underneath, okay? You're grabbing. Both hands gripping really solid, okay? And what I'm going to be doing is an overarm arm bar, using my whole body. Doesn't much matter how strong or big this guy is, because this movement right here involves my entire core and body weight like this. I bend. I go drop in base. He has to come down, okay? I've got a nice twist here. I can send this foot out and land, break his arm backwards, it's over. I don't need the other 59 techniques, okay? This right here is sitting waiting for me. This right here is waiting for me. And anything else any other direction I want to take these fingers, okay? Okay, the next step on this is the strike. Hey! That's a hammer fist to his face. I'm far enough out that the hammer fist is going to land just fine. Very comfortable for me, not so comfortable for him. Notice I can maintain this control right here. As I come around, I'm going to do the hammer fist, I'm going to keep control right here. This can also go like this. You okay? Got a nice little pop in the wrist. Okay? So, we're going to go that far with the hammer fist. Okay?
Can I get one more time, switch position?
Certainly. Hey! Now, what did I do wrong? I moved way too fast. Slow is smooth, and smooth becomes fast. So, come up, nice and gradually, over the arm, like so. Set this very briefly, and we go with the hammer fist. And now there's one more thing that has to happen. When that hammer fist goes, hey! Get that Kiai in there. I want everybody to Kiai. That's one of the techniques that has to happen. Good enough? Great. Let's go. Let's break up into pairs and work this. We're not going to repeat this one in the interest of time. At the end, we can attempt to do them all if you wish. We're going to take the joint lock hand throw, the Kiai, and the right front kick to the groin. Okay? So, joint lock hand throw. At this point, I've done this right here, and this is where we left Batman and Robin. Okay? So what we're going to do now is a hand throw. From here, I've already got this twisted way back this way. I'm going to come around, and I'm going to reach like so that I can get my hand like this, and then come across like this. My lower belts still do this, that's fine. Okay? I would recommend doing this for the hand throw. Okay? And we're not going to complete this as a kata no nagi. We're not going to complete the hand throw. I'm not going to send it so far that he has to go down. I'm going to stop here. And, hey! A nice solid kick to the groin. Okay? So, if I move this, coming off of this, come all the way around. Reach as far as you can. Get this twist in here, so your thumb's on the back of his hand, come around like this. Hey! This is where we'll pick it up, okay? That much right there, please. One of the beautiful things about this particular strike and this groin kick is that chances are better than 50-50 that when he turns around, and I've done this right here, and I'm come around, okay? He's not going to, he can be like this, and that's fine. I can use a front snap kick to his groin, or I can come right up, okay? And his feet are any kind of a wide apart. Use his legs as a vortex so that you just go right up and his shin, your shin connects with his crotch. That way it's a less likely to miss. I'm not going to hit above, I'm going to hit right at the target. And the legs make that an automatic thing because it just can be a guide. I could kick here and still hit his crotch because it's going to slide right up and go to the target, okay? All right, once we're here and I've got the hand throw going, okay, what we're going to do is then step in and lift up slightly to come in and set this. Now, when I go to set this, I want to have the wrist bent, okay? So that I'm not just doing this here. I've got the wrist involved. I can bring it back on itself. I can kind of get a Z going on here, okay? And as I'm coming in to do this, my knee is then going to go into his crotch. It's another crotch strike, this time with a knee. I don't know how many of you have ever had a situation. I like to wear martial arts shirts. When you do that, you're in a sense a sitting duck. I like to discuss it with people, and usually it's a discussion. But every so often, some teenager will set his friend up to go and do that to me, okay? I've got an automatic comeback, but first thing I'm always inclined to do when somebody invades my space like that is run a knee right up his crotch, and then we'll talk. But my usual comeback is, I teach. Here's my business card. What's your name? And diffuse the situation, okay? And we end up with a nice conversation. Yeah, not what they expected. So I mentioned that in case you like to wear martial arts attire from time to time as well. Okay, so this, again, I've got the hand throw ready to go here, but we've not completed it. We will complete a hand throw later in the sequence. We're here. When I reach under, I don't want here yet, I want here. And then, hey! Knee, strike. Okay? Careful with the knee strikes. Here we go. This by itself, just the strike, because this is an area, again, that requires a lot of persistence in getting across. Okay, so we've got this right here, and make sure that your thumb, as I said earlier, comes across. We don't want this right here, we want this. Okay, and I've just dropped the knee in. Hey! I'm going to turn. This is going to be a really tight turn because my left elbow is going to connect with his sternum or solar plexus, just beneath his sternum. And it's going to be a hard strike, a debilitating strike, and it could be a kill strike because a strike like this can stop a heart. We turn around like so. Now I've released this slightly, but I've still got the arm bar, and I've turned tightly enough that this elbow comes in and right in the solar plexus. We turn this around so that the camera can see. Okay, I'm moving from hey to tight turn, hey! Okay? What happens is, when I'm working with people on this, there's a tendency for this turn to go like this right here. You can see that. You just know it, and you'll see it in your students when you work with them. And that it is a tight turn, but it's not so tight that it's not very comfortable and very effective. Okay, so left elbow to sternum, and again, it's a body awareness thing. It's not hard to know where his body is. I've got a hold of his arm, and I just kicked him in the groin. Okay, good. All right, so we'll work that strike. I have just come around like so and landed this strike. My feet are together enough for me to effectively drop in base if I haven't already, so that we can then do a basic hip throw with the arm bar. And this is what's going to happen right here. He's either going to bend his arm slightly, or I'm going to be able to keep it out here straight enough to do the lift and get this. Okay? I encourage my students on this, if they go to this right here, hey! I may just complete the throw. And we're going to go to something else entirely different. Okay? So you say, well, sometimes it involves a little student cooperation. If I want, I also have this option right here. Hey! When I turn for this right here, if I've still got that wrist bend, I've still got that arm locked. Okay? If I've got a little remnant of it. If I have a problem with somebody like that, that's going to keep that straight. Okay? All I'm doing is an incomplete basic hip throw from there. Okay? Could you throw somebody one arm that way? Oh yeah, we can complete that. Yeah, you'll feel it when you get your feet off the ground. Right, okay? So go ahead and work this, please. Yes, sir. My students get tired of hearing me say that. Horse stance, riding stance, every joint in your body you can bend is bent when you do this. That's why it's a starting position for a lot of karate forms, okay? Yes, you don't want your elbow out like this. Before you want to keep a slight bend in that if you can to protect it. Yeah, a bent joint, protected joint. Go ahead. If you're working with somebody who, I start out beneath Logan's center of gravity, this actually works perhaps more effectively. Hey, I'm like so. I'm already below his center of gravity. I've landed this. Hey, and I do this right here. Okay. If somebody's shorter than you, you're going to have a little harder time getting this to go. There's nothing wrong with bringing your other hand up here if you want. We do it one-handed, but this again is choice. Okay. The strike on this. Hey, hammer fist to groin. It's just sitting there waiting for you. Okay, and that completes that segment. We're going to speed it up here a little bit because we're going to run out of time. Hey! Foot stomp. And that's not toes. That's the top of that foot. And I then reseat this right here. Okay? If I want to go into the technique after. After I do this, I can step into this right here, which is a tai tosh. Okay? And go ahead and launch this. So let's go through the segment from here. Hey! 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 And then when you go to this tai tosh, move your body back. Take his space. Okay? So that you can then do the tai tosh. People will tend to do this right here. They do this right here to get them up for this. Okay? And then, hey, hammer fist, and then they want to do this right here. No, you want to block that foot. He can't step out. This one, if you can get it as well. Sometimes they'll leave the foot back. Go ahead, set the tai tosh. Okay? From there, we go to the, hey, foot stomp. Okay? So let's do that segment right there, please. Next one, please. Come on, Logan.
I have another one on this technique can't complete. Thank you.
There you go. There you go. So, we're here. Hey! 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 Hammer fist, tai tosh, and then, hey! We're going to come around. When we come around, bring your arm. You want to cup, you want to sara his elbow, and keep this right here. Keep this control. Come around like so. You've got the wrist lift. This is, again, turning that, pardon me, I'm going to step you forward here. I'm going to walk a ways here. I get him up on his toes by twisting this wrist, as you know, okay? And I bend him backwards to take out his kazushi. Hey! Knee to his tailbone, okay? In the interest of time, I'm going to reach over like this. Hey! Now I'm closer in, so this is going to be an elbow strike to the side of the head, the neck, or the temple. Temple can be a death blow, okay? Unlike the one earlier where I was out here, I'm going to use a hammer fist. This one you'll come in, you'll already be in here, so you're going to use an elbow strike. Okay, so if you want to just do this last segment, we're here, foot strike, sara the elbow, come around, lift the wrist, bend them backwards, hey, knee, strike, the tailbone, hey. Okay, let's get that much, we'll move on. I just finished the elbow to the neck, the side of the head, or the temple. Okay, and that's my option, by the way, as to whether or not this is a life and death situation. He's in my living room and my family's in the house. Okay, different situation than if we're on the beach and I just want to get away. Okay, so from here, we already got this strike right here. Hey! We're going to come out and hey! Side kick. Okay? Now, you don't want to be hey! And then stand here and try to do a side kick like this. Go ahead and step out so you can land a nice, high quality side kick. Even if he bends his knee, it's going to really off balance him. Okay? I'm in position here for a hand throw. And when I go to do this, so I've got that strike, I'm going to go ahead and turn my hand like this, take it down, and then, kick. You saw that earlier. Okay? If you want to continue, because we're running out of time, this right here sets me up to just do this right here. Now I've got the arm twist that's going to have him come over. If it's a really big guy, come back over, please. And this arm twist is, I've already got the hand throw like this. I'm going to grip right where I am and put a twist on this. That makes him want to come over. Okay? If it's a really big guy and he wants to resist, I can help myself out by the arm twist and grab behind his neck to get him to come over. Okay? From here, I'm going to drop a knee in on his chest, on the shoulder. I'm going to do that arm twist elbow lift. Okay? From here, when he comes up, he's greeted with a groin kick. Okay? We get that much, we're gonna go ahead and lop off some more. We're lopping off 2 and 3 days at a time here. My apologies, but hey, we're black belts. I've just brought him up, and I've just snap kicked him in the front, okay? I'm gonna step in nice and far to get a punch to the solar plexus, okay? And I'm gonna make this 1, 2. This isn't a whole series of steps where I do this and then turn around like this and come around. You want as few steps as possible. Okay, so, hey! Turn, and we're good to go. If I let his wrist slip, if I don't let his wrist slip, I got something more like that, okay? He's already gonna wanna come with me. I can step backwards and pull him to the ground if I choose. What I'm gonna be doing instead is I'm here, I'm gonna send this across, hey! Come in, hey! Send him down. This right here, do not pull out, pull straight back. As he comes over, I help it along with my knee. Step in, drop here. Hey! Kick to the kidneys. A good solid kick to the kidneys can be as effective as a groin kick. Okay? I've already got a hold here. I've nice wrist grip. Bring this down as I bring the knee up. That hasn't bent over. On this, I'm going to hang on. I'm not letting go again. This grip stays. So, hey! I sweep step, come over. See how I've got the twist here? That makes his elbow ready for my hyperextension or arm break. Hey! Bring this over. I've got that full twisting arm. Hey! And we're done. Okay? What I'd like to do is get as far as the 2 things that really slow people down. Pulling straight back, so he wants to come over on his stomach. And the other one is I get that last grip, I do the sweep step, I don't let go. I maintain that grip. Break the arm, hey! And then sweep step, and then pull. The arm will withstand that full twisting motion there, and it's important not to let go, even in practice on this one. Unless somebody's got shoulder issues and you're going to have to let it slip. Yes, sir.
You showed the stand up with the arm against the shin again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm like so. The way we get into this is we've got the Gyaku Hiji Waza. This is a reverse elbow technique where I'm going to be pulling him onto his stomach. And instead, what I'm going to do is send this arm across, step in, take his space, hey! And I'm doing a fisted elbow, a fisted forearm attack on his solar plexus. This is not designed to debilitate. This is designed to distract, knock the wind out of him. It's not going to hurt a lot. Logan, go ahead and yell. Hey! I'm landing it really hard. Hey! And I know it doesn't hurt him a bit. He's reported a number of times. Once I'm here, this comes up to my jaw. This comes here. I bend him backwards, okay, so that his kazushi's gone. His balance is gone, and then I sweep this leg out. Hey! Down here. He will land right where I want him. And I'll get that in a second. Because you see where he lands? All I have to do is slide this foot back, this knee, and then pull straight back. Here he comes. Okay? I'll show you the component parts. Thank you, sir. If I do this correctly, send this across, hey, set this and come here and bend him backwards, okay? I've got control, I'm in on him. When I sweep this, hey, see where he lands? We're right there, we're ready to go. This just comes straight back. Pulling him out this way isn't going to do anything. Pulling him straight back is going to make him come right on over. Okay? Give it a go, please. We got another 3 minutes, 2 minutes. 2 things I'd like to close with, and I don't know where the time goes, but you know, we always have a 2-hour class, and 2 hours always goes by like that. That's why I know that jiu-jitsu is like vacation. It's always over too soon. Thank you for the opportunity today. I want to close with 2 things. Number 1, it's not mentioned on here, but mental imagery is powerful training. Many a time, I'll send myself off to la la land sleep by going through this technique sequence forward or doing it from the opposite side. And that's the second thing I want to share with you today. If you look at the end of the technique sequence underneath number 17, it says, feel like practicing 60 more steps? Reverse everything by defending from a left-hand shirt grab and a right punch, and do everything the other way. It's fascinating. Your body, once you know one, will pick up on the other really quick, and it supports both of them. So now you got 120 steps. Jeff's over here grinning going, yep, yes, okay. You see why we can take 17 weeks in a regular dojo with lower belts and cover this. And again, I apologize for the amount of time we've had to operate. If you want, we can review this briefly, because this is going to be one of the sub-techniques of the 10 techniques we're going to cover in Sunday's class, for those of you who can come back. Multiple technique flow is a part of street kata. It's a pleasure. If you'd like to watch the entire sequence slowly one more time, and we have the time, I will do it now, or I'll do it later. I'll do it whenever you would like. You can do it outside of class if you want to clarify something. Later? You got it. Thank you very much.